Yeah, it's interesting. It's funny as well because he came from Celtic, and I do wonder sometimes, on the human sort of level, if he just stayed at Celtic, maybe he wouldn't have developed. But Celtic makes my second club, and he'd probably be a hero there already.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean? And I wonder whether, if he had that choice again, what he would have done.
I think the most likely is that they do loan him out again, because I think they'd back him, whatever they could get for him this summer. I think they'd back to add 10 million for that if he went and had a really good loan. Is that the Championship? Is it Middlesbrough again? He obviously feels comfortable there, or is it a lower Premier League club where it's a higher standard but might be a little bit tricky for him to show exactly what it's got, or maybe it'll be good for him. I don't know. That feels like the most likely scenario to me, but I really enjoyed this. You can't really not enjoy watching him, can you? I mean, like you say, we spoke to Dan a lot last year, and he was a bit like, I can't believe I get to go and watch him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like some of the crap I've had to watch over the last few years. And now I've got this fella who's just like a one-man fireworks display. Basically, he's just like, get on this. He is so much fun to watch, isn't he? And so yeah, he belongs on football pitches and not watching stands.
All right, John, I want to come on and talk about Rio. I thought it was a really impressive performance. Only 45 minutes, but you could see also there was a gravitational pull of him on the pitch. Preston are suddenly, they go from one man up against him to two, and then suddenly there's a third who's on watch because we're not quite sure what he's going to do, and then we've got to react if he manages to get beyond those three. I thought it was quite the statement performance insofar as you can have one in a pre-season game. I feel as though he managed to nail it.
Yeah, it's the confidence of the boy, I think, that really impresses me, because you'll need that. If you're going to break through at a club like Liverpool, you've got to really back yourself. And we got that with Raheem Sterling, who is similar to. I think Rio's got a few more tricks. Sterling was maybe used his brain a little bit more and things like that. But he was one who remind me of, in terms of a wide player coming in and having loads of confidence and thinking, yeah, I belong on the big stage. And Rio certainly had that, and I think the more confidence he showed, the more his teammates went, yeah, go on then, have the ball. Do you know what I mean? They started to feed him more and more, and like you said, Preston probably realised more and more that they needed to give him a little bit more attention. He looks a hell of a footballer. He is still so young. The problem that him and Ben Doku will have is, if you play 4-3-3, you need goals from all three of them. You need three forwards. You need goals, and last year we got that. Gakpo obviously weighs in with a really good number. Diaz does, and Salah's a one man, right hand side, isn't he? And even Chiesa, when he does get the opportunity, looks good for a goal. I think that's the one thing, isn't it, with him, that you're like, well, if he was to start every Premier League game next season, how many goals would you back him to get? I think that's where you'd be a little bit unsure, because it can't be 5 or 6, unfortunately, because especially with the number 9 question marks that have been going on for a while as well. I think that's the only thing where for him and Doak, they need to be sort of answering that sooner rather than later. But he can't have done much more. I thought he was absolutely electric.
The fact that we're even talking about Rio though as someone, how would he perform in the Premier League if he was playing every week? He's 16.
Yeah.
17 in a few weeks. I guess at this stage, if you only see odd glimpses of his talent, that's probably more than enough for his development and what the manager would be expecting from him now. But you certainly got a taster yesterday of what the future could look like. His feet were so quick. And as you said at the start, they're often doubling up on Salah, sometimes 3 men moving out, and then the space opens up on the other flank, and then they realised, oh no, hang on. Might have to readdress this plan, boys, because this lad needs some attention too. It was great to see her. I love the first goal. I love the quick feet that he showed, and then equally the footwork from Chiesa in the box. Another curate's egg, that's the phrase, isn't it?
He may well manage to define curate's egg.
It's just so much quality. He's obviously just such a gifted footballer, Federico. Such a gifted footballer, but physically, is he going to be there again? Is he going to have the physical traits that you need to thrive in the Premier League? I don't know. But in those flashes, in those moments, you see what a footballer he is. But then 10 minutes later, he just can't make a run, or he can't get involved, and he doesn't seem to bag. He always seems to have a thrilling performance, but then not the goal to cap it off. And Yeah, it's a touch frustrating to say the least watching him, because he genuinely was considered to be one of the best footballers in the world at one stage. He's on our books, and you just want to see more of it. But you still think, even with a full pre-season, even if he gets as sharp as he can be, is it just going to be a move back to Italy?
Yeah, that's another reason why I'm a pre-season pervert, because he's got it all in front of him, hasn't he? He can do the work and he can get himself back in the team, and maybe you could argue he didn't have that last season. I think that was going to be my point on the young lads, just general as well, because I think they're all in really good shape and could be knocking on the door for places. But I think it was labelled that slot. One of the very, very few negatives that was labelled on him last year was that he didn't give the kids much of a chance and things like that. But I remember thinking at the time, well, he hasn't had much time with them. He comes straight through the door. Big decisions were making, and we were starting a league season about six weeks later, and he didn't know them from Adam. Whereas now he's had the year, they've developed, and he's probably looking at a few of them going, yeah, okay, let's have a look.
Naomi's dead interested in this, because to me, Naomi looks like a footballer who's been coached.
Yeah.
He looks like a completely different player to the one who was still really impressive last pre-season, but to me, he just looked as though a player where they've looked at him and they've said, when you play for us, this is where you're going to play, and this is everything you need to know to play in this place where you're going to play.
Yeah, I'm glad you picked up on him individually as well, because I think there's a sort of stench of like, we might have a star here, but let's kind of keep it under wraps with Naoni, I think. And I think he's seen he can play in a few different positions. He's got a football brain, and if his body kind of allows him to, there could be a serious professional footballer there. And I think, yeah, I agree. I think they might be looking at him and saying, well, there's probably qualities of McAllister there. We can play in that position, and he can develop his game, and that's the interesting thing with Slot coming in. And obviously we've seen he's got new coaches and things like that. It looks like he's very active on the training pitch, and he's got a little bit of time now between now and obviously the start of the season to do that, whereas I don't think he had as much time as he would have liked last season.
I hope you're enjoying this free show at the moment. Loads of excellent, exciting stuff on the Anfield app. If you want to be part of the whole thing, you can download the Anfield Wrap app and go from there. Or you can subscribe via the YouTube membership as well for video-only content and other bits and pieces. We love doing these shows. We love that you watch them. So come, be part of the journey with us.